Rick visited a festive area, like a winter village or decorated outpost, where he found a glowing Christmas tree. When he interacted with it, he could make a wish, perhaps for rare gear, supplies, or even a moment of peace from the chaos around him. A special core sounds like a powerful reward. Maybe this core could enhance Rick's weapons or gear, giving him an edge in future battles. It could even be a rare sequence core, something that boosts his rifle's damage or adds elemental effects like fire or ice. Alternatively, the core might unlock a hidden path or activate ancient technology at a critical moment in his journey. Sparrow steps into the event area, her eyes catching the twinkling lights of the decorated tree. Snow drifts softly around her as she approaches, brushing frost off her sleeves. She places her hand gently on the tree, and the lights flicker brighter. A small box appears at the base, wrapped in silver and gold. Sparrow kneels to pick it up, curiosity sparking in her eyes. "What did you get?" Rick asks, watching from the Snowball board. Sparrow opens the box carefully. Inside, a faint glow reveals a delicate crystal charm. She holds it up to the light. "Not bad. Maybe it's good luck," she says with a smirk. Rick chuckles. "We'll need it." Rick and Sparrow make their way to the snow-covered playground, the crunch of fresh snow under their boots. The area is quiet, blanketed in white, with swings and slides half buried beneath the frost. Rick bends down, packing a snowball tightly. With a sly grin, he hurls it at Sparrow's back. Thwack! She stops, slowly turning to face him. "Oh, you're asking for it," she says, already gathering snow in her hands. A playful battle breaks out, snow flying in every direction. Laughter echoes through the cold air as Rick dodges behind a tree, only for Sparrow to nail him with a direct hit to the shoulder. For a few minutes, the weight of survival lifts, replaced by the simple joy of winter fun. Eventually, breathless and dusted in snow, they lean against the playground fence, grinning at each other. Rick steps onto the snow-covered playground, his eyes scanning the players scattered around. A few are already ducking behind the two massive white bunny statues, while others casually stand chatting, completely unaware of what's coming. Amid the flurry of snowballs, Rick is caught off guard. As he ducks behind one of the giant bunny statues, a snowball, expertly thrown, comes hurtling toward him. He tries to dodge, but it hits him square in the chest, and suddenly, a chilling cold spreads through his body. "What the?" Rick mutters, realizing he's frozen in place. His arms lock up, his legs stiffen, and his body becomes a human snowman, completely immobile. He tries to move, but the cold holds him fast. A few nearby players, seeing his predicament, burst out laughing. Sparrow runs over, narrowly avoiding more snowballs aimed at her. She reaches Rick's frozen form, shaking her head. "I guess the snow's not just for fun, huh?" Before she can help him, another player, Love, sprints over, trying to help free him. But instead of pulling him out of the ice, she laughs, wrapping her arms around his stiff form in a playful, unexpected hug. "Well, you look frosty," she says with a grin, still holding him tightly. "Need a little warmth?" Rick, unable to move, lets out a muffled laugh, his face turning slightly red beneath the frost. "I didn't exactly expect this to be the outcome." The snowball fight around them slows for a moment as players stop and watch the scene unfold. Eventually, Sparrow steps in, gently tapping Rick with a snowball, and the cold begins to wear off. As he starts to regain movement, Rick slowly hugs Love back, carefully pulling himself out of her embrace. "Guess I owe you one, Love," he says with a smirk, his body finally loosening up. "You're welcome," she laughs, stepping back to grab another snowball. "But don't expect me to save you next time." Rick grins, now fully thawed and ready to continue the snowball madness, but with a new ally in the. As the snowball fight rages around her, Anna, funny zombie, remains an enigma in the middle of the playground. Her movements are slow, deliberate, and oddly mechanical, as if she's stuck in some unspoken routine. She doesn't flinch at the snowballs hitting her, nor does she try to dodge or retaliate. Instead, Anna sways gently in place, her arms outstretched, her stiff body tilting at strange angles. Occasionally, her head jerks to one side, her movements unnaturally abrupt, like a marionette with tangled strings. Her eyes, wide, unblinking, scan the surroundings in a jerky motion. Each turn of her head is sharp, exaggerated, like she's constantly assessing her environment but never quite acting on it. The snow that falls on her shoulders slowly collects, a stark contrast to the way everyone else is moving around her with fluid grace and laughter. Then, without warning, Anna's torso twists at an impossible angle, and she groans loudly, Snoo, taking time, processing. Her voice is drawn out, mechanical, each word dragging on like a glitch in a machine. She reaches for the ground with one arm, moves her fingers like a stiff zombie might, and then, in an exaggerated, jerking motion, she picks up a clump of snow. It falls through her fingers like she's forgotten how to hold it properly. Still, she attempts, again and again, as if caught in a loop. A nearby player, perplexed by her eerie behavior, throws another snowball. It lands with a soft thud against her chest, but Anna doesn't react. Her head turns slowly toward the source of the throw. Her eyes lock onto the player for a long moment, her neck creaking as she twists. Then, just as suddenly as she turned, she straightens and continues her strange, robotic motions. It's as if Anna is a living, breathing puzzle piece from another world, trapped in a loop that no one can quite understand. Her movements are unsettling yet oddly captivating, drawing everyone's eyes as they laugh, dodge, and play around her. But through it all, she remains a silent, unblinking figure in the center of the playground, forever caught between the living and the unexplainable. Rick watches Anna for a while, her strange, unhuman movements adding an eerie touch to the playful chaos around her. The snowball fight continues, but Rick finds himself drawn to a different kind of excitement. He glances over at the arena in the distance, where the sounds of zombie growls and player shouts can be heard. A grin slowly spreads across his face. Time for something more interesting. He turns to Sparrow, who's still engaged in the snowball fight, and says, I'm heading to the arena. I'll catch you later. Sparrow flashes him a thumbs up without looking away from her target. Have fun, Rick. With that, Rick makes his way through the snow-covered grounds, heading toward the entrance of the arena. The snow crunches beneath his boots as he walks, leaving behind the playful chaos of the snowball fight. The arena looms ahead, its gates open, inviting him into the heart of the zombie battles. As he steps closer, the sounds of the fight grow louder, the growls of zombies, the cheers of players, and the clash of weapons. It's time for something a bit more intense. Rick walks up to the arena with a heavy heart, feeling the weight of the QH-RU in his back. Her presence, despite being hidden from the world for so long, has always been with him. His fingers tighten around the strap of the bag as he approaches the arena gate, his eyes glancing around, sensing the excitement and thrill of the battle to come. But for Rick, this moment is different. He takes a deep breath before unzipping the bag, revealing QH-RU, his zombie friend, carefully contained in the protective layers he's carried for months. Her form is limp, lifeless, and yet, there's a strange bond between them, one forged in the silence of survival and shared memories. His eyes soften as he looks down at her. I'm sorry, Ru, Rick mutters under his breath. I never wanted you to end up like this, like them. The weight of his words lingers in the cold air as Rick gently lifts her out of the bag, holding her fragile body in his arms for one last moment. The crowd in the arena watches curiously, whispers starting to spread among them. Rick moves to the center, where a platform is set up for the upcoming battle. He places her gently on the ground, her body stiff and unresponsive, yet somehow still there. The sight of her, once a friend, now reduced to a shell of her former self, stings deeply. With a final, sorrowful look, Rick stands up, stepping back. He turns toward the arena officials, signaling that QH-RU is ready to fight. Despite the sadness in his chest, he knows this is the only way. The fight must happen, and in a twisted way, he can't back down now. For a moment, Rick just watches her, feeling the sadness of the choice he's made. The arena gates begin to close, and the sounds of battle fill the air once more. Rick watches QH-RU fight in the arena, but she's quickly overwhelmed by zombies. She falls, defeated, and the announcer declares her loss. Rick feels the weight of the moment, his heart heavy with sadness. Without a word, he picks her up, walks to the center of the arena, and gently places her back on the ground. "I'm sorry, Rue," he mutters, his voice filled with sorrow. He signals to the officials, determined to give her another chance. The arena gates close once more, and Rick steps back, waiting for the next fight to begin. As Rue faces the zombies once more, the battle is swift and brutal. Despite her efforts, she's quickly defeated again, her body falling limp as the zombies swarm over her. The crowd remains silent, the sadness in the air palpable. Rick stands frozen for a moment, his heart sinking. He turns away, unable to watch any longer. As he walks toward the exit, he notices a figure in the distance, his friend standing with a bow, drawing a heart-shaped arrow aimed directly at him. Rick's heart skips a beat. His friend's expression is unreadable, a mix of sorrow and determination. Without saying a word, Rick opens his arms wide, ready for whatever comes next. The arrow is released, sailing through the air with slow, graceful movement. It strikes Rick in the heart, the impact both physical and emotional. He stands there, eyes closed, feeling the weight of it all, the loss, the pain, the burden of survival. The arrow feels like the final symbol of everything he's fought for, everything he's lost. As Rick stumbles away from the arena, his breath coming in shallow gasps, panic overtakes him. His chest tightens, and his vision blurs. Flashes of memories flood his mind. First, he sees his wife, the cruel woman who betrayed him. Her cold eyes, her words cutting deeper than any blade. The betrayal stings all over again, and loneliness overwhelms him, an ache that has haunted him since the moment she left. Then, a flash of Rue, the friend he carried for months, her lifeless, zombie form etched into his mind. He remembers the bond they shared, the moments before everything went wrong. The guilt floods him, the knowledge that he couldn't save her, that she ended up as a weapon in a world that never cared. The flashes keep coming, moments of loss, regret, and pain. His past crashes into him, suffocating him, leaving him gasping for air. He stumbles forward, his legs shaking, and his chest aching with the weight of it all. In desperation, he makes his way back to camp, seeking the refuge of familiarity. The camp feels empty, quiet, but it's all he has. He collapses onto the bench, his body trembling, as the memories keep circling in his mind. Rue's face, his wife's betrayal, the crushing loneliness, everything closing in on him.